Welcome back to another build by Barrett Knives here, everybody. I'm glad you're here. I think we're going to enjoy this video. So let's go ahead and get right into it so I don't need to do a lot of preamble. First, I'm sketching out the design so I can get the elements right, and then I'm going to be making it out of a really nice piece of spring steel. Usually this is around 5160, and it's a great steel, nice and flexible, perfect for longer, more flexible blades. So pretty much it's straightforward. Heat it and beat it. But you'll see inside the little coil here is a little metal ring that I wanted to implement into the design. You'll see that a little bit later. So I open it up just enough, take that piece out and save it, and then we end up unfurling it, uncurling it, and we're going to use that then as our tip. So we get it straightened out, and then we start developing the tip of this Glamdring inspired blade. And this is honestly my favorite part, but it's only interesting up to a point to watch. So I'll just show you the big parts of it. We established the leaf shape and now the tang, and we're getting ready to match it to the drawing, which I think I got pretty close. Now we're going to start working on that fuller. I like to do the fuller first, because then when I go and do the bevels, it helps me bring that fuller to a nice temper. And then, of course, after some normalizing, the quench. Big fireball, it's always fun. Now, I like to clamp it between two pieces of wood and then weigh it down. That helps prevent any of those potential warps or sabering. I'll talk about that in a second. But after that, the blade just needs a little bit of cleanup so that I can see the steel well, so that I can do my tempering. Then in the middle here, I started marking out the length of the handle just to kind of help me visualize it. But then I temper in my forge, nice and careful. But I gave it a nice deep straw temper. It's a little dirty here from clamping it in the wood. But as you see, there's a lot of cleanup, truing up the lines. But we can do the fine tuning now after the quench. I wanted to leave a little bit of thickness so that I had a little meat to work with in case of any warping. But thankfully, there is no, where's the camera? There you go. There's no warping whatsoever, and there's no sabering, which is side to side. It's gonna be a beautiful blade. Okay, so now if you notice, there's a lot more to the blade than what you might have caught on the drawing earlier, and that's because it is based on Glamdring, Gandalf's sword, Lord of the Rings, but the customer wanted to then customize it himself. This is his design, and I really loved it, which is why I was so excited to do this. So we've got these pieces coming down, and we've got these pieces added to the guard to kind of personalize it, plus the engraving. So now we deviate from Glamdring a little bit, and we start making it into what the customer wanted. And I'm pretty happy with it. So let's get into the guard. And hey, look, it's that little metal collar again. Here's where I'm going to implement it. I'm forging it to the basic shape so that I can use it as a collar over the wood handle. Just gives it a nice look. And then a spare piece of mild steel I'm using for the pommel. And it's a distinct pommel, so it's got a nice, it actually forms part of the handle on the lower end. So get the basic shape established on the end, and then use my 12-ton press to kind of draw out the material into a handle. But with all those extra little pieces now, some more mild steel, and we just start shaping it. There's a parrying ring that I'm shaping out of this, which we'll then weld on later on, and establishing a nice little curl, kind of match some of the aesthetics that we got going on. But again, even though this is my favorite part, it may not be the most interesting thing to see, but I used some more mild steel to punch out the guard, make it easier to engrave. And then there's that little metal collar I was talking about, just adding a couple details to make it really stand out. I'll then fit that over the guard. Nope, let me try that again. Over the handle, right underneath the guard. So here's what I really like to do for this part. I have the wood already worked out, and I have, it's a little messy, but it gets cleaned off. I have that collar fitted on. So what I'm gonna do is gonna leather wrap it. So I like to use some super glue, and then I wrap it nice and tight, and then I sew it on to the other side. So it gives a nice clean fit and a nice clean line. So what I usually do for this one, I'm using this kind of a nice, beautiful, I don't know, royal blue. I don't know what it's called. But I fold over the seam so that when I then put it on and we make it nice and tight, it just gives a better look, in my opinion. A better look than if it was just like raw and it just kind of stops. I like having that little seam right there at the top. So super gluing it also helps get me that nice tight fit, which will give the shape of the handle pretty, just more detail. Okay, now truth be told, I get so wrapped up in everything that I forget to finish up recording. I did record the engraving, but I finished it, so let me show you. And here we have Narnalindi, based off of Gandalf's sword Glamdring. 5160 steel at 39-inch blade, mild steel brass-plated fittings with a nice wood core and a nice blue leather wrap. Peened over on the end with just a bit of adhesive just for extra insurance. But no blade is complete without a test, so let's test it out and see how it does. Death to this dried up orange, which I was surprised to find was actually a grapefruit. Or a blood orange? I don't know. Either way, it's dead. Death to 1 water bottle, 2 water bottles, and 3. All in all, I'm extremely pleased with it. Please let me know what you think. This thing was so much fun to make. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you liked the video. I know I really enjoyed this. My customer's very happy with it as well. So let me know if there's something specific you'd like to see me make, and hit me up on my website if you want to make an order yourself. And then maybe, if you're okay with it, we'll put it on YouTube. Let everybody see how it was made. Thanks, subscribe, all that stuff. See ya.